Good morning. Casey posted about books that are either on the ban list or possibly will be on the ban list when it comes to Black American studies and history. I have a few books that I want to recommend, but I do want to remind you all that he's already come out on Fox News and said that any books or any curriculum that's teaching African American history, those schools will not receive funding. And if you want to know where you can reference that, it's in chapter 11 of Project 2025, where they talk about dismantling the Department of Education, which is going to be top priority starting in 2025. But let's get into these book recommendations I have. Let's start with the Black History 365 textbook series from third grade through high school or college. There is a textbook series that you can purchase online right now. I do highly recommend that you get them for your children because they will not be taught Black history in schools moving forward based on what Donald Trump has already said. These textbook goes beyond slavery. It talks about pre-colonization, what African life was like before colonization, all the way up to just about the Biden years, just before the Biden years. Next up, we have the Henry Louis Gates series, which is the African Americans, Many Rivers to Cross, Who's Black and Why, Stony the Road, and the Black Church. All of these have a companion documentary to go along with it. Next to the Black Church, you'll have Cotton is King by Ian Eliot, which talks about enslavers as well as policymakers and their justification for the enslavement of Black people and why they deem them to be inferior. Below the African Americans, Many Rivers to Cross, you have The Senator and the Sharecropper. This is about Fannie Lou Hamer's story, followed up by A Black Woman's History of the United States. I recommend that you also read Critical Race Theory. That is the third edition book. It is not taught in K through 12 schools, so if you have that on your shelf, you can understand why it's not taught in K through 12 schools. The Devil You Know by Charles Blow. The Education of Blacks in the South, 1860 to 1935. Black AF History, The Unwhitewashed Story of America by Michael Harriot. The 1619 Project by Nicole Hannah-Jones. The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. By Ibram Kendi, we have 400 Souls and Stamped from the Beginning. And last but not least, we have Roland Martin's White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. If you are looking for a short read that gets to the point of where we are now and why we got here, this is a phenomenal read. I highly recommend that you put these books on your shelves because there may come a time where you may not be able to get them in print. And if they don't get rid of the print version, there's a chance that they may change the language or redact the language. Be prepared to educate yourselves, your kids, because we are about to be in for a wild ride.